Alright, hey everyone, this is my second live stream and we will go over the video that I uploaded a week ago. It's about big ocean ships and I have prepared a list of questions that I'm gonna ask during the live stream and hopefully we can answer them. If no one in the live stream, I'll gonna answer myself. Let's get going. First of all, let's wait people who probably late and they wanna show up a little bit later. I will start from explaining what was my video about. It was about big ocean ships, about cargo and cruise ships that transport goods or people or other stuff. I did go over why this is very important in today's world. How do they work? How do they operate? What they consist of? The structure and so on. How do they? What do they do in a storm weather if they caught up by surprise by the storm? And other questions. Anyway, it took like 15 minutes and I didn't dive into this question. I just did go over the basics and standards and hopefully that was very interesting video. In any case, let's start this live stream from the question that is um, let me see. So, have you ever interesting. Have you ever been on ship, boat, or ferry? What was it like? Since no one in the chat so far, I'll answer this question. And the answer is I've been on ferry and on the ship, and it happened in San Francisco some years ago. I was waiting on ferry my ship for Alcatraz and its famous island prison here in the Bay Area of San Francisco. And when I went to the tour, it was awesome. I would very recommend. I don't know if it's open right now. I do believe I heard in news US government tried to make a prison for the immigrants recently, but did it go well or didn't go well? I don't really know. But the prison itself, it's a historical monument of the law enforcement and how the prison was built. The history, though, tells that initially Alcatraz was a fort, military fort, and with families on it, and eventually it became a prison. Very sad. But anyway, so I traveled by ship to the island, and it was nice ferry ship. Nothing special really, but I like it. I like it that weather was good. I like it the island itself. You can see the downtown, you can see bridges, and so on and so on. Let's go to the next question, which is would you like to go on a cruise ship? Why or why not? I would love to go somewhere on the cruise ship, and I know that the travels on the cruise ship take a lot of time, and I like it. I know also that people live in separate cabins, and it could be really tight a little bit. Depends on what ticket you're gonna buy, like premium or usual or regular. Also, people eat what's served on the ship. There is a team of cooks and cleaners and other staff that take care of the people on board, which I like too. There are also cruise ships that have like programs or shows during the day or night, and I would like to see it all one day. Maybe someday I'm gonna travel to the other countries like Australia or Japan, or maybe Alaska and North Pole by the cruise ship. I would very much like to. Anyway, let's go to the question number three. Number three, which is how do you think sailors feel when they are in the middle of the ocean? I have no idea, honestly, and I do believe that sailors have a lot of to do. They had to take care of the ship. They had to take care of the goods on board and other stuff. And I think they don't have like ocean sickness, wave sickness, if it makes sense. They don't feel bad when they in a long journey. They don't have something like homesickness, or at least they don't have in a long time, which is I don't know if it's a requirement for sailors or not, but I think it's a great sailor who enjoy his travels. Anyway, I never saw women sailors in cargo ships, but on the cruise ship, I believe that there are women sailors. It's a lot of crew and a lot of females. Anyway, how do they feel? I think it's really cramped because service and job as it is not probably that you go for it. I don't know how to explain it. You not travel for the just travel. If you work on the ship, right? You need to do your responsibilities, your duties, and every day is something. Or vice versa. I never been a sailor actually. Maybe they just get bored and just I don't know what they do, swimming around the ship. Anyway, I don't know how they feel. Excuse me my blubbering on that point. I hesitate to answer this question, and all the answers that I give is just my opinion. I don't really know what's going on the ship. Another good question. What would you do if you were on the ship during the storm? I don't know. I just gonna lock myself in a room like in an earthquake. I would probably I would probably listen captain and other crew because they trained for that kind of purposes. They know exactly what to do in the storm. And if I would be alone on the ship, I would probably steer towards the safest direction very slowly and in a way that the waves doesn't hit my ship much hard, if it makes sense. So I hope it's a good answer. The question number 5: do you prefer traveling by ship, plane, train, or car? I honestly like to travel by car and I like it, but I do I do like also travel by ship or plane, but I don't do that much, that kind of travels. I did in the past travel by train, and one day me and the friends was traveling from one city to another city, from one coast to another coast, so to say, to cross the country. And it took like 8 or 7 days, and it was good experience in the beginning, but in the end it was terrible experience because 7 days in cabin is just impossible to not get bored. I don't know how we managed it, but back we traveled back by the plane because we didn't want to take train for so long anymore. Uh, that was a good experience once in a while, but I don't think I'm gonna repeat it again. The question number 6: why do the people travel by the cruise ships? Uh, I think because they work on them or they travel, because it's nice experience and interesting by swimming into the oceans across the oceans with other peoples. You can see dolphins and sharks and other ocean habitant. You can see birds flying around, you can see waves, different types of weather. There is much more activities on the cruise ships, like games, like parties, and so on and so on. I do believe the ocean ship provides much more interesting types of activities than for example, you traveling by a train or plane. Otherwise, you would get bored. So, the next question. What do you think life is like for people working on a cargo ship? Ooh, so on the cargo ship, people have to maintain ship, right? And they're responsible also for the goods. So they probably do a lot of checks if something go off or is everything okay. And what do? They navigate by maps. They steer the ship. They serve they do maintenance of the engine room, electricity on the board. They check the hull and do other stuff. I guess a lot of stuff on the ship going on during the cargo ship travel. They take a while to arrive to their destination. Maybe they just sit in their room like sailors and captain and like reading books when they don't have anything to do. I need to explore this question a little bit more before answer. In any case, don't listen to me. The next question: if you could visit any country by ship, which one would you choose? I would choose Australia, Japan, or maybe Alaska. I don't know. Also, there are cruise ships that go for the science projects. They travel to the North Pole or South Pole with the passengers on board and to see what's going on out there. I don't have that kind of experience, but I always wanted to try to. So yeah, definitely North Pole and South Pole in my list of the travels. The next question is, do you think ships are more important for the world today and why? Do you think why the ships important for the today's world? Yeah, they're very important for the today's economy because most of the goods arrives by the big ocean ship. It's they are very economic in terms of transporting ships by the water, right? They also very safe and they kind of slow though. But anyway, this is a minor details. What do you think the sailors eat on the long journeys? I have no idea. Honestly, I think they have like a uh, what do you call cannery, like a metal piece preserved food. They open it and just eat it. Sometimes they get fresh food when they get stop at the ports, but I think most of the time it's just simple ration, simple food. All right, let's see next question. Would you be scared or excited to sail across the ocean and why? Well, I don't think I want to stuck in the ocean. I don't think I want to stuck in the middle of the storm, and I don't think I would like to experience what do you call ship crash like Titanic did. That's gonna be a disaster experience. But I heard that the ship traveling they're very safe, and I would like to try someday. The next question is. How do ships find their way across the oceans? I think they use radars, they use radios, and most importantly, GPS. And it pinpoint exact the location of the ship in the ocean every given moment. That's pretty much convenient, and everyone using it because it's very safe. For example, if you're experiencing a ship crash, like I mentioned it earlier, your ship will gonna be shown on GPS of the what do you call emergency services. They will find you. They will find you and rescue you. How soon it's gonna happen? It depends where you are. Do you know any famous ships from history? Like USS Hornet in Alameda, California. It's a floating museum, and it in the old times it was a battleship and an air carrier, and it was carrying a lot of airplanes for the World War II. Later on, USS Hornet was part of the missions of the Apollo 11 and 12, if I remember correctly. So right now it's docked in Alameda as a museum, floating museum, and I visited many times. It's very interesting, very interesting. A lot of expositions inside. You can find Japanese history in a World War II times. You can find Apollo information about Apollo 12, and you can find some interceptors on the top deck. Also, they have a torpedo room, engine room, and flight deck, all that kind of stuff. I would very recommend to visit it. Also, there are other ships like Titanic, historically known, sadly known ship, and I don't know, maybe other ships. What do you think storms at sea? Why do you think storms at sea are dangerous? Obviously, because they can damage ship. They can overturn ship like upside down. They can damage the hull, so ship gonna sink eventually. They can the storms with the huge waves can take off people from the deck very easily. So you need to be cautious not to end up in the water, right? That's why it's so dangerous. Not to mention that it's a cold weather, it's also rainy, it's slippery everywhere, so you need to be careful. Another question, my friends, what would you pack if you were going to a long ship trip? I have no idea what people usually pack when they go to the long trip. What, like warm clothes, maybe food, some maybe electronics, my laptop and phone. And that's pretty much everything. I think I'm gonna be well fed on the ship because it's a part of the journey. Next question is, do you like look at the ocean? How does it make you feel? I think I like look at the ocean because of the waves and birds that flank around. It's very calming. I feel like I'm very content, and I feel like time goes slow by, and I feel like a little bit happy. But anyway, it's just my experience and my opinion. I do like enjoy oceans in any case. Next question. If you were the captain of the ship, what rules would you like would you make? I don't know, stay safe. That's a good rule, right? The other good question, how do the big ship floating through, though they are so heavy? That is a good question. I think that's because they are full of the air inside. They kind of designed to be hollow inside. The same for the same very reason. If you kick the ball in the river, ball will not gonna sink because it's a lot of air inside. Same goes for the big ocean ship. They have air that a lot of air that make a ship as a whole like a little bit lighter than water, less denser. And that is why water trying to push it back on the surface, push all the way out of the ship. But this is not really possible because it locked inside. That's why a ship floating. I hope it makes sense. It's physics. I don't think I can explain like really easy. What? Why do the ship need an anchor? Good question. Because they can float because of the waves and the wind, and anchors help them to stay in one position, right? That totally makes sense. Let me check if stream going on. Let's see the question number next one. What jobs do sailors do on the ship? I believe we had this question. Let's go to the question number 21. How do people sleep and eat on the ship during the long journey? We also did go over this question, I do believe, but I think like everyone else, they just eat and sleep. It's maybe a little bit inconvenient because ship tends to float and like being hit by the wave, and it's kind of feels tricky on the surface of the ship, on the deck of the ship. I don't think if I would have like ocean sickness, but I think it's because of that, because of the long journeys on the water. And I think people feel like really bad if they have ocean sickness. What else? What famous ships do you know? Famous ships, historical ships, they all won. Titanic and USS Hornet in Alameda, California. Hope that answered the question. How sailors support themselves, like eat, sleep, navigate. This is question that I already repeated, and I don't know why this question keep repeating, because it's probably very important, that's why. Let's do the last question, but not least. And the last question is, do you know any sea creature that can put any ship in danger? Like a big fish, like whales, like big sharks. I don't know if you saw movie, what do you call it, Jars? But that's very impressive feel. When I was younger, I was afraid of water because I thought uh, uh, because I was afraid of sharks that can bite me. But anyway, that was the last question. I hope you enjoyed and you did go over all of them. If not in the real time during the live stream, then you can do it after live stream offline. Don't forget like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.